Gary D-Lab here with another Fender 5 F1 kit build that didn't go so well. Let me show you what's happening. This one recently arrived D-Lab for some repair after the build was unsuccessful. You can see that the construction is actually really nice. This guy did a good job. Unfortunately, the amp is squealing. It's got some uncontrollable feedback. Should be a really good one to figure out. Let me show you what it's doing. Alright, so I'm going to plug it in. I have the volume all the way down. No signal applied. Monitoring on a little speaker right over here. Get ready. Here it comes. Boom! All the dogs in the neighborhood raise their ears. So I've worked on quite a few of these amps that had this feedback issue. There's about 3 different things that can cause it. Number one, I've got my little speaker hooked up here, right? You see where the speaker leads are at? You see how close it is to the 12AX7? If you look inside, you can see your preamp and output section are very close together, which could cause feedback. That's a known issue, and if you look at some of the later Fender designs, the speaker jack is magically over here between the rectifier and the output tube, because they were fighting that problem. The other thing that can be causing this is multiple ground locations. So you see our input jacks, okay? You see the grounds. Well, the ground is going all the way over here down to a terminal board, okay? So that's one ground path. Then you have your power ground, and I think I spotted another one. Right here is another ground. So you have multiple grounds. And I'm sure a lot of you have read about 1-point grounding in amplifiers to reduce noise. This may be one of them that's being affected by that issue. The other thing is if you look at the dressing of the input jacks, if you take a look at a layout of a Fender Champ, you'll see that they actually soldered 2 of these lugs directly together. They didn't have these jumpers. So these little jumper leads may be inducing some feedback. So we're going to check all that out. Alright, so the first thing we're going to try is to remove the speaker from this jack. And I'm going to desolder the speaker wire, pull it out through the top of the chassis, and hook up the speaker and put it behind the amp and see if the feedback goes away. Alright, so I pulled the speaker lead. And I've just got some jumper cables hooking up to the speaker rod, plugging her in. Here we go. Cross fingers. I'm sure though the owner would be pissed if this is all it was, but unfortunately that's a design problem. I can't do anything about that. Nothing. That's a good sign. No feedback. Let me turn the volume up. Look at there. There it is. So yep, it's a proximity of the speaker jack to the preamp tube. And it doesn't matter if you have a shield on it or not. The problem's not up here, the problem is in there. Alright, so what I'm going to do is what Fender did. I'm going to move the speaker jack from here to here. Okay, it's going to be nuzzled between those 2 tubes. I really don't want to put it over here by the power. Alright, so we're going to put him about right in here. The guy should be able to plug in the speaker just like it did over here, except the wire would be over here, alright? And of course you want to route it away from these tubes because they're going to get hot. But this is going to fix it. Now on top of that, I'm also going to rewire these input jacks, get these flying grounds taken care of, and lace the wiring and solder up these terminals the way they are on the print. And after that, I think we'll be good to go. Alright, so I've relocated the speaker jack, and I also moved the output transformer away from the 12AX7. So it is actually in its proper mounting position now, but this is not actually the transformer that came with the amp. This is a little mercury magnetics. So maybe it has a little more inductance than the original. Alright, we're going to plug it in. Let's see if our feedback's gone. That's full bore. So no more squeals. Alright, the next thing I want to do is rewire these input jacks and clean up the grounds. Alright, I've got the input jacks rewired. Took care of the grounds, all that good stuff. Just plugged her in. I actually had to change out the 5Y3. The one that was in there was actually intermittent. So I put in a new old stock RCA. Here we go, we'll turn up the volume. No signs of feedback. So now, let's put it on a scope, see what the output looks like. So here's the test into a dummy load resistor using an audio generator as my signal source. I've got the scope clipped right across a little 4.7 ohm resistor. Let's bring up volume. There's my sine wave. Looks pretty good. Let's crank it. Oh yeah. There's your Class A distortion. Looks good. I'd say mission accomplished. Alright, so the little 5F1 is ready to go. As you can see, even if you build these things per those instructions from these kit manufacturers, there are some problems that may pop up. Feedback is number one, especially on these 5F1 circuits, because there's no tone controls. You've got a lot more gain, and it's really easy for things to interact. So pay attention to your grounding, pay attention to your lead dressing, especially the output transformer. If that speaker lead is anywhere near the preamp tube, it's going to go stinking nuts. Anyway, if you can't find the information online when you have problems, that's what videos like this are good for. D-Lab's here for you. See ya.